More than 50% of the population in the United States have issues with attachment, and that means how it is that they form emotional bonds with other people. And this is so important because it impacts our relationships with our romantic partners, our friends, our colleagues, and of course, our relationship to ourselves and self-esteem. So my name is Bev. I created this channel to talk all things about attachment styles and how it impacts us throughout our life and our different life cycles. If this is something that is of interest to you, please give us a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends if you think it's worth sharing. Let's dive in. If a dismissive avoidant is interested in you, you will know, right? They will spend their time with you, which is something that a dismissive avoidant doesn't do too easily because they're very protective of their time. The attachment styles that we're talking about and the patterning and the fears that come up only happen a little bit later on in the process once that emotional bond deepens with someone. So once, like, let's say you and I are dating, we've had a couple of dates, it's been a couple of months, then we start having some discussions about, let's take this to the next level, let's be exclusive, let's make that commitment. When that emotional bond deepens, that's at the point at which some of the fears start to surface. So oftentimes for an anxious partner, for example, when a dismissive partner starts to pull back because they're feeling fearful, it feels like deception. It feels like everything was going fine and we were having a great time. And you told me you really liked me and all of a sudden you don't want to spend time with me. It feels like deception. It's not. I want to go back to the shark analogy again. I brought up sharks for a reason because I think it's a colorful sort of illustration. So if we go back to, I have an intense passion, love even, strong like for sharks. Let's say you say to me, Bev, I know that you love sharks. Let's go on a trip and we can go cage diving. At that point in time, this is where I'm headed, right? So at that point in time, I could be like, wow, that would be so amazing. I get to see them up close. I'm going to love the experience. I'm going to touch a shark. I've always wanted to do this. This is going to be awesome. Then we start future planning. We book the trip. We go buy our clothing and accessories and we do all of this stuff. And we finally get there and we get on the boat and the cage is there and you go back, go ahead. This is what you've always wanted. Jump in. And at that point in time, when it becomes really real, I go, I can't do it. I almost become paralyzed with fear. I can't do it. And my fear outweighs my feelings, right? So my feelings, my love for sharks, my love for wanting to explore and understand them, all of a sudden my fears pop online because that is really real. Now I have to get in a cage. And so it's actually that level of fear that some people, dismissive and fearful, will experience when jumping off into a relationship. And that's why you sometimes get a very sharp, what they call discard. Everything is going well. And all of a sudden you're about to jump off the boat into the cage and you're going to move in together. And I can't do it. I'm out. It's a panic response almost because the fear becomes too great. So understanding that there is this fear, it does explain a lot. And again, one of the things I wanted to talk about is that when that emotional bond deepens and things become really real, like I'm about to jump into that cage and swim with the sharks, one of the things that people do to preserve themselves is they start to distance. They start to minimize the importance of the relationship, and they tend to use certain strategies like flaw finding. And one of the funniest shows ever is Seinfeld. I'm sure you've seen episodes. So do you remember there's a whole running joke throughout the entire series of Jerry and his dating shenanigans. So after every episode, Jerry would say, "Oh, she's not for me. Her hands are too big."
Yes, man hands. She's a close talker. She's a far talker. She eats her peas with her fork. She walks around naked. I mean, like the list goes on and on. He found a flaw.
That's right. And it's only funny because it's absolutely true. So, what Jerry's actually doing is he really doesn't want to get too emotionally close to anyone. If you watch his behavior, he's quite avoidant. He doesn't like conflict. He doesn't talk about his emotions. He's just there to be, the entertainment. He's
Yeah.
always on a surface level, right? He's also, you can tell, quite anxious. He's got a low level anxiety to him. He's always a little bit riled up. So it's easy to see that he's this type of avoidant. And he goes out on a date with good intentions, and there's always something wrong with her.
Yeah.